timelines. It has a longer lifespan. And then something that these platforms have as well, they are making sure that it's optimized, search engine optimized, which we only saw on Google and Bing and things like that. Now the actual platforms have it integrated. So hashtags, they're not irrelevant, but they're not the only thing. Does everybody follow? Give me some thumbs up, because this is a big deal. Because the way that you're going to relate to your audience, build your tribe, build your following is by understanding the rules. So if Ariel has 25 comments under her reel, Ariel is automatically going to have 50 comments under her reel because Ariel's going to reply to how many? All 25. Now, what do you think those people that are commenting, liking, and subscribing, or commenting, liking, sharing, what do you think those people are? Drop it in the chat. Prospects, that's a hint. What do you think these people are? Drop that in the chat. Because I don't want this engagement to go over your head. Because when I give you these call to actions, it's gonna be so much more valuable for you. They're friends, good. I already said prospects. Somebody put prospects, potential clients, new partners, followers, interested in, yes, they are leads. We have people that are in real estate on this Zoom. We have people that are in insurance on this Zoom. We have people that are building online businesses on this Zoom. Business partner, thank you. So this is I see we put here, this is the reason we said that they don't necessarily engage. Not interested because you're not engaging enough. You're not posting enough. You only use text. I'm not on often enough. So consistency, not proficient, not interested, inconsistent. I see that. Yes. Oh, I thought that was a coach that was asking. Reciprocity. Okay, so this is what I want us to write down. And y'all are going to be like, really? Like, this is the reason? This is the reason they don't engage? You don't tell them to. That is the main reason people don't engage. If you don't tell somebody what to do, they do nothing. And it's not because they don't want to, but it's because they don't know what to do next. So I want you to imagine that you take somebody through an entire presentation, whatever your presentation is, or you take somebody through an entire, life insurance policy, and then you don't ask for the sale. How many people are actually going to go, so where do I sign up? Maybe 1%. So I want you to think of it as every post you put on social media, you have to tell them what to do. And when I tell you, this works 60 to 70% of the time, that the people that used to not comment are going to comment, like, share, subscribe, because you told them to. Drop a 7 in the chat if you're like, oh crap, I didn't even tell them what to do. I didn't tell them to like. Drop a 7 if that was me. I didn't tell them to comment. I didn't tell them to put an emoji. I didn't tell them to share this. Can we get some honesty? Like, how many people never told them what to do? Now, this is the key. You can't be boring. You can't be boring with telling them what to do. So it does have to get creative. So sometimes you'll say, I've been saying the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm going to give you guys call to actions. How many of us are like, okay, this is making sense? Give me some hands if you're like, okay, this will change the game for me. This will change how people engage, when people engage, and what people engage with. So here we go. I'm giving you 8 different call to actions for your post. Now, family, you have seen some of these, but let's be honest. Have we been using them? Like, have we been using them for our own? If you have been effectively using call to actions on your social media posts, drop a 3 in the chat if you feel like you've been effectively using and people have been engaging, people are doing it, and drop a 4 in the chat if you haven't. 3 if you have, and a 4 in the chat if you haven't. And I want us to be able to have this conversation because I need to know as your coach, right? So Coach Dunbar said he has, but I'm seeing 4s. And guess what, family? That's okay, because you're going to see your engagement spike. I want to say at least 20 to 30%. And then the more consistent you get, you'll see your engagement go up, 40 to 50% over the long haul. It's going to be amazing. So comment blank to learn more. This could be you educated about, maybe real estate. you educate about anything. You shared something with them, but maybe you just did a teaser, comment blank to learn more. Okay. What do you struggle with regarding? Again, this is asking them questions so that you can then go ahead and tell them solutions. What do you struggle with? Hey, be honest with me, be transparent with me. And this creates that relationship, right? If somebody's honest enough with you in your comments or in your DMs, don't you think that you can have an honest conversation with them on a call, right? Because that's what this is about. Can you relate? Let me know in the comments. It was me too. Like if you're sharing and having vulnerable moments, ask them like, can anybody relate with me? Right? Do this, put it in the comments. Have you experienced blank? Have you experienced issues with, being able to get your will done? Have you experienced challenges with being able to, maybe close a sales call? Have you had any challenges, or have you experienced what it feels like to, be a single young mom of 3 kids? Or is that just me? Right? They want to know you're human. How about this? Tag a friend in the comments who would find this post helpful. Remember when I said tagging, that's engagement. But what else does it do? It adds another person to your tribe, right? And it adds somebody that's your relevant audience and your relevant following to your tribe. This one is huge. If you use this effectively, big deal. Save this post for blank. Save this post for inspiration. Save this post for motivation. For my ladies, this is a game changer, because you can say, save this post for the rainy day. Like when maybe you don't feel good or you feel down, save this post so that I could be the person to tell you that you're amazing and you're beautiful and you got this, girl, right? How many of us would love to be able to do a reel that tells people that? 7, drop your questions below. You want people asking you questions because now you're what? You're the expert. Remember last week, we talked about positioning ourselves as the expert, and then drop an emoji in the comments if you found this helpful. Guys, that's 8 ways for you to tell someone how to create conversation, how to engage with you, what they can do in order to, of course, change their trajectory, whether you're offering help with their business, help with their financials, help with their insurances. This is going to be able to help you shift your engagement on social media. And then, of course, because of that, the platforms reward you. Family, I hope that this was helpful. You guys will get this information. It's really going to change the game. Does anyone have any questions or action items? Oh, sorry. Okay, great. I'm glad that you guys understood it. I'm glad that it hit home. You guys will be able to get that template, and that's my time. All right. So the next coach that is up is somebody that, of course, I look towards. She is going to be sharing Microsoft tips and tricks. Family, these are game changers for your business that you can apply today. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Coach Larry. Coach Larry, over to you.
Okay. I think we're going to Coach Dunbar now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
Nope, that's fine. Hold on. My camera's doing something different. Hold on. Can you see me now?
We see you now.
All right. Good. So I'm going to be talking about the Pomodoro technique. And Pomodoro technique is really to help you be productive, manage your time. But the reason why I'm going to talk about it here today is because it's going to go along with the entry of our conference. So on the first day, we're going to be talking to you all and engaging with you. But on day 2, I'm going to start talking about when you should apply all the things that you're going to learn from the coaches during the summit. So part of understanding when is knowing when to do the Pomodoro technique, because that is about you scheduling 25 minutes at a time to go over certain topics so that you can focus. But you want to know, right, from the when, and when I mean when, I don't mean W-I-N, I mean W-H-E-N. So if you guys are following me, I want you to put W-H-E-N in the chat so that I know that you don't mean when like DJ Khaled. I'm talking about when, like when are we going to do this? When are we going to do that? Because just as important as the tasks or the IPA that we have to do, is just as important to know when we need to do them, because our bodies work differently. So I'm going to show you how to do a quiz to find out when you should do certain things. So when it's time to apply this Pomodoro technique, you'll be able to say, hey, look, now I know to spend 25 minutes scheduling my emails at this time of day, and it's going to be focused time. So understanding the Pomodoro technique is going to be really important. I have a one-page PDF that I'm going to show you guys, and then I'll put it in the chat afterwards for you guys to download it before you leave here today. But just understand, focus time is really important. And when I mean by focus time, that means that you're doing nothing else during that time. So how many people are multitasking during the day and they're doing 2 or 3 things at one time? You got 5 or 6 windows open, right? You're jumping from window to window because you think you're saving time, right? You've got somebody on, you're texting somebody, you're doing something online, right? So put a 3 in the chat if you're the person that you've got your phone sitting here, right? So I've got my phone here. I've got all these screens open. I'm doing all these things at one time. And I'm thinking that I'm multitasking and I'm solving all these challenges and getting all these things done. But every time I go to another task, my brain has to slow down to catch up, right? So you ever see somebody have lag, right? So you're looking at something on YouTube and it's lagging. That's what happens with your brain when you're trying to multitask. You've got too many different things going on. So the Pomodoro technique is going to show you how to choose a different task or an IPA, take a timer, set it for 25 minutes, focus on that one thing, and then take a 5-minute break. And when we take a 5-minute break, we're going to take a real 5-minute break. That means that we're going to walk away from all of our work. That means have a 5-minute conversation with somebody that's not talking about work. That means, right, go outside, get some fresh air, go out to your balcony, whatever, do a couple of jumping jacks, whatever you want to do, but don't get into another project. But also don't fall into a scroll hole either, right? How many people take a break for 5 minutes, right? Put a 4 in the chat if you take a break for 5 minutes and find out 15 minutes later that you've been on TikTok, you've been on Twitter, you've been on Instagram, and you're like, man, I'm supposed to be taking a 5-minute break, but right, you saying happy birthday, happy anniversary, looking at everybody's business, right? I get it. So you don't want to fall into that cycle. So what I don't want you to do is to get on social media. Don't start checking your email during the 5-minute break because that's not taking a break. I want you to really take a break. Go fill your water. Go get your water container and fill it back up, right? Go make you a quick cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatever it is you drink, right? Grab a quick snack, whatever you can do in that 5 minutes, but don't do any work and don't get caught up in anything that's going to take you more than 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you guys can look at these quick steps that I have here. So bear with me 1 second. All right, so this is just talking about using the Pomodoro technique. So this is the 2-page PDF that you guys will have. It's just a cover. The first page is just a cover. And just so you guys know, the Pomodoro is an Italian tomato. So, don't worry about that. That's the timer that they use, but you don't have to use that timer. So when we get into the BAPS sessions, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more in depth, some different things you can do post-COVID, that a few different changes that's been made in the Pomodoro technique where you can use different time and break sessions. But I'll talk a little bit more about that now. I just want you guys to get the concept here. So just defines it up here at the top, and then it's got 5 steps to successful Pomodoro sessions. So you're going to choose one IPA or task that you would like to focus on and write that down. Now, blocking time on your calendar and sync will help with this, right? So you'll see how this is going to all run together when we get inside the BAPS 2022 sessions. You'll see how you can set Pomodoro technique sessions right in your calendar. So you can say, okay, I'm going to spend 25 minutes on this, 25 minutes on that, right? And keep doing these sessions. And then you'll see after you do about 4 sessions, you want to take a 20 to 25 minute break after you've done that 4 times, right? Give your brain that break that you need. And you'll also see that you can change what you're working on in those 25-minute sessions, or you can just stay with one thing, but you want to break it up so that it doesn't seem so heavy. So the other day, we were working on the Facebook page for the sessions for the BAPS 2022, and it took 1 hour and 15 minutes. But I broke that up into 4 sessions at 25 minutes, and then on that last session, the 5th session at 25 minutes, it only took me 15 minutes. So even though I did the Pomodoro technique for it, I didn't do it all in one session, and I didn't change my items. All I did was break that one deal up. I told myself I was going to take 1 hour. It ended up taking 1 hour and 15 minutes, 15 minutes more because I just misjudged it, which is not a problem. You'll learn to get better with that as you do more things, but I broke it up. So I did 25 minutes, 5-minute break, 25 minutes, 5-minute break. And it lightens the load, and you don't feel like when you're looking at a 2-hour project, I've got to work on this for 2 hours before I can get a snack, before I can take a break, before I can do anything else. Because sometimes that's overwhelming. Now, if it's overwhelming for you to think about a large project, put a 5 in the chat, right? Just so I know I'm talking to the right audience. But some people's personalities are like, nope, I'm going to knock it all out at one time. And that's fine if that's you. But most of us, we're like, man, a 2-hour deal, that's too much. But if you do 25 minutes, 5-minute break, 25 minutes, 5-minute break, you'll realize that you'll compartmentalize it. Your brain will feel like I can really handle that, right? So step number 2, set your timer for 25 minutes, right? And it says here, we'll discuss some other timer setting alternatives. And that's going to be where you can do different settings, like where you can do longer times and longer breaks, because it's been altered a little bit since the pandemic, because so many people were working from home. So I'll introduce you to those so you can see which alternative is going to be the best for you to use. And you may use different ones depending on how you feel that day and what your personality is. Step number 3 is going to be work on IPA or task until the timer rings, right? Now, let me stop here for a second. If you have an iPhone, you have something called Focus, and there's another way that you can do that on an Android. I don't have one, but I know there's a way where you can stop calls and things from coming in. This is very important. When you're doing your 25-minute sessions, don't answer your phone, don't respond to text messages, don't answer emails, don't do any of that, even if you're working in your email. So let's say I'm going to take 25 minutes to clean my email out, or 25 minutes to go through my important emails that I put to the side. While I'm going through those important emails, don't cheat. Don't answer an incoming email, because you're breaking a cycle. You're going to still, in that 25 minutes, just do what you said. You can respond to that email at another time, right? At a totally different time, because you want to stay focused and you want to have that routine going so that your brain knows that you're not going to break that cycle. So put your phone on focus mode when you're doing the 25-minute sessions so that you're not interrupted while you're doing it. So it says in whatever system you're using, to-do list, calendar, all those things. So what I mean by that is when you finish the task, make sure that you label it. So this is really important for your psyche. And if you do this now, put a 5 in the chat and let us know that you do this. It's really important when you complete something to let yourself know that you complete. So if you're using a calendar, right, mark the task out on your electronic calendar. So if you're using tasks area of your Google Calendar, you can click that you've done it, and it'll put a line through it. If you're using a to-do list electronically, put a check in the box. If you've got a to-do list on paper, draw a line through it. I know it sounds childish, I know it sounds elementary, guys, but our brains really work that way. You really feel accomplished. If you have a 10 list of to-do things, when you go through when you hit each item and you finish it, draw a line through it. You would be amazed on how good you feel after you do that, even though it's just you simply saying, I accomplished that goal. So whatever system you're using, whether you're using the to-do list, whether you're using the calendar, whether you're using a task manager, when you finish that 25-minute deal, if it's one thing that you're doing in that 25-minute session, make sure you say, I've got this done when you finish. After you take your 5-minute break, go do the next thing and then mark that when it's done as well. So let's look at number 4, step number 4. Take a short 5-minute break. And like I mentioned earlier, guys, it's got to be a real break. Take a real break, and that means away from work. Don't call somebody who called you while you were in your focus session unless it's an emergency. Now, we all know if it's an emergency, all of this shuts down and you deal with whatever the emergency is, if it's a real emergency. Not somebody else's urgency because they didn't do something they should have done, but a real emergency. If it's a real emergency, that means somebody's bleeding, somebody's dying, right? Not my son asking me for money because he spent all his. That's not an emergency, right? So understand it's got to be a real emergency. So when it comes to that emergency, you can stop. Other than that, don't make a phone call in between that or during that 5-minute break, because that 5-minute break is really for you to break so that you can then go back to your 25-minute focus sessions, because these are still work hours. Yes or yes? So I want you guys to make sure you guys understand that. Put a 6 in the chat if you understand where I'm going. Last step right here, guys. Last step. Work another 25-minute session after your break. And as seen in step 1, right, you can do the same task, but just continue working on that, or it can be a completely new task, whichever you've got going on. If it's something that takes more than 25 minutes and you're breaking it up, do it that way. If not, and it's something you're saying, I'm shifting every 25 minutes to a new task, you can do that and it works all the same. But I want you to start breaking your tasks down that way, or your IPA, income producing activity, down that way, so you can now get through your day easier, and you kind of taking bites of your day. And at the end of the day, you can say, hey, it's easier to do your day in review and your week in review, where you look at your calendar and say, I did 5, 6, 25-minute Pomodoro technique sessions, and this is what I got accomplished in that amount of time. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, guys, put a 7 in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and stop my share. All right, so hopefully that was beneficial to everybody. Move my screen over here. That was beneficial to everybody. So if that was beneficial, put an 8 in the chat, put an 8 in the chat. I want to know that you guys saw some value in that, help you get through your day production. And again, I'm gonna add to that in the business conference, where you will see a little bit more about how it will all work in sync with the other things. So with that being said, I'm gonna turn it over right to my big sister, who is like, she's like the sales guru, right? The sales guru. She really does spend her time not only operating in the sales space, but training. She's been training in this sales space for over 20 years. You guys know her. She particularly enjoys working with women over 40 years old that are in the sales arena, right? She is the founder of Peak Performers, and she's brought several tips here. And I'm telling you, if you've been in these free sessions and you haven't registered for our business conference, you are going to miss some big time stuff that she's got coming, talking about HubSpot. If you're a woman, talking about she's in business, talking about a woman-owned platform to help you do your sales better, she's going to be talking about that. You don't want to miss that. So we're going to hear about some Microsoft tips here that she's going to bring to the table. So Miss Sharon Larry, I'm going to turn it over to you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. You know, it's hard to follow you. And of course, it's hard to follow our millennial coach, right? Ariel has such energy, right? I always feel like I need to kind of rev up behind her because her energy is so good. And I appreciate the Pomodoro. I appreciate the fact that you did stop us for a minute and say, in order for you to really truly be effective, there are some things, this technique that can help you be better, to bring more income to the table. So I'm all about the IPA. So tonight I get a chance to share with you guys, you know, I know a lot of people are using Chrome. I'm a big fan of Chrome. I use Chrome, but I have Windows as my, it's the first thing that I have access to. We've got a couple of people still coming in. First thing I have access to, and then I added Chrome as my browser. But I'm one of those people that still uses a lot of the apps and the programs that are provided by Microsoft, right? I have Microsoft Edge, I have Microsoft Office, and I use it. If you have used or are using Word, please let me know. You know, just put a 2 in the chat. I want to see if there's anybody who's using Word, or if you're using PowerPoint, or if you're using Outlook. All of those are Microsoft. Okay, so there's a, yeah, see, okay. I thought maybe that I was the only old school person still using Microsoft, but I see that there are some other Microsoft users. So I want to talk to you guys about some of the things, some of the tips, and some of the tricks that I use to make sure that I can take advantage of everything that's in the Microsoft. So let's start. I'm going to share my screen. And let's start with Outlook. So I use Outlook as my professional email. I use Yahoo, and I think I've shared this with you guys before. I use Yahoo as my just everyday email. Now, let me distinguish, make a distinction between how I use it. So I have Sharon at Peak Point Benefits. That is one of my, that's our company name, and that's my professional email. I also use Sharon at ID Surety. And I use those because when I am engaging with a prospect or a new client, what I want them to do is I want them to see the most professional side of me. And that's why I will use Outlook instead of Gmail. The other thing that I have found, there are some sites that I have tried to go into, or maybe I'm trying to download it could be a report or something like that. If I put in my Gmail account, it won't allow me to download whatever that report thing that I'm trying to do. If you've experienced that, let me know. Put a 5 in the chat. If you have used a Gmail or a Yahoo and have been denied access to a website to download a report or anything like that, because it happens. So I'm going to be talking about in the summit why it's important for you to own a professional email. I'm going to be talking about the fact that you should own your name. I have SharonLarry.com. There should be a JimHicks.com, right? And we want to make sure that we have our own name, and make sure that if you have a company name. If you don't have a company name, when you join us for the summit, we're going to be talking about how important it is and how you can create a company name, how you can actually buy your URL so that you own your name and whatever your company name is, right? So let me jump into Outlook real quick. And I'm going to go into, this is my ID surety. This is my professional email. And one of the things I love about Outlook is that I can recall a email. So let's say that I send an email to Miss Sylvester, and I realize that, oh, okay, I didn't mean to send her that particular link or that particular attachment. Well, I can recall that. And this is how it looks. Let's create an email. I'm going to create a new email that I'm going to send to, let's say I'm going to send this to Miss Bird. So she's already, of course, in my system. And the subject is just a test email. And I'm going to send her something. I typed that because when I was learning how to type, we had to type this over and over and over. I don't know if anybody remember this, right? We had to type it over and over and over. So I'm going to be sending her this email. Now, a couple of things I want to do. I want to always make sure that I'm sending it high importance, right? Because I want it to go out as soon as possible. And, the good thing about Gmail, if you're sending it to another person in Gmail, it goes immediately. But here, I can make sure that it's high importance. And I'm going to send this email, right? Now, I'm going to go right over here to my sent folder. Still hadn't gone yet. I'm going to come back to it. But once it goes out of the system, I can actually go back in, just right click on it. It'll ask me if I want to stop the email. It'll ask me, let me go right here, back over here. It'll ask me if I want to recall the message, right? So it'll allow, all you have to do is open the message and click on it twice. And we'll go back in just a few minutes to see if the message is actually in the system, and we'll see if we can recall the message, right? And once we recall the message, we can delete it or we can change the message. So we're going to come back in a few minutes. Now, I want to show you guys something in Word that I love in Word. Word is one of my favorite things to use. So one of the things that if you have Microsoft 10 or 11 just came out, I like using Word. Now I also use Canva for a lot of things. But before I had Canva and before I really learned how to use Canva, I use Microsoft Word. So let's say that you wanted to actually add a picture, right? You want to insert a picture. This is one of the things I love about it. We can click right over here on insert. Just notice that I'm in a brand new Word document. We can go right over here to pictures, and you see where it says stock pictures. These are all pictures that are already available for you, and you can even do a search on a particular picture. Let's say that I want to do a group of women. Now it's going to pull up pictures that I can use right now, and I can just double click on any of these pictures and insert those immediately into the document. Now, why would you use this? You would use this if you want to send an email, or you want to send a letter or information. One of the best ways to do that is to break up the monotony, is to just add a picture, right? So let's just click on, we've got this group of women here. We're just going to click on this. And it's going to add that picture. Now, I can manipulate this picture in a lot of different ways. I can add a frame to it, right? All of these, and they're all available to you, the different frames that you can use. Or I can just, use the picture just the way it is. So I'm just going to add just a simple frame to it. But here's the other thing, I can reduce it, right? And I can put it wherever I want to. So I'm going to go right down here to where it says wrap text. I'm going to put it in front of the text. That way I can move it anywhere I want to, right? So I can move this picture anywhere I want to. And that gives me room to type whatever I need to. If I was actually, say I wanted to create an email, right? I can actually create the email here, copy the email right over to Word, or I can create the email in Word. Let's go back over to Word. Let's go back over to Outlook, sorry. Let's go back over to Outlook, and I'm going to do the same thing, create a new, this is a new email. And if I wanted to insert over here, you see you don't have the pictures. So a lot of times what I might do is create the email in Word and just copy even the picture right over here in my email. If that makes sense, let me know if it's making sense to you. If it's not making sense, then I need to clarify. But if you can see how you can use the pictures that are already there, right? Even if I took this picture and I copied this picture, I can take this picture right over here to my Outlook. I can post this picture right here. I can paste it right in here. So in your Word, just know you have all of these stock pictures that are available to you that you can use in your Word document, that it's the same pictures that are available in your PowerPoint, and you can use these pictures in your email. So when we want to create emails that are not just a lot of words, when you just want to break it up, when you want to show something different, then you can add a picture to your email, and all of a sudden it changes the whole dynamic of the email, right? If this is making sense to anybody, let me know. Okay. So Mr. Hicks said he wants me to clarify. Tell me what you want me to clarify on, Mr. Hicks. Put it in the chat for me. Here's what I'm trying to say. Let me break it down. Have you guys gotten emails that are so just words and words and words and words? And you can see the emails that you get right from us. Those emails have a lot of different graphics and things like that in it. All right. Now, you may not want to learn right away how to do all of that, but you can still be able to send an email that is more interesting, that people will want to read if you've got pictures in it. Now you can use graphics too, but it's a lot easier to just grab a picture and put a picture in your email, right? Mr. Hicks, does that make sense? I'm looking at you, I can see you. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so what we want to do is I'm going right back over to Word again. I just want to show you guys how simple this is. I'm going to just even delete this one out. Right? Just I'm in the Word document. I'm going to close the Word out. I'm going to open Word and I'm going to show you exactly how I did this. So I'm going right over here to Word. I'm opening up my Word document. I'm just going to a blank document. And I'm going to show you guys the templates. The last thing I'm going to do is show you the templates. But I'm just going to open up a blank document in Word. I'm going to type whatever I'm going to type, right? I'm going to send this message. I'm creating whatever I'm creating for whatever. And now I'm like, okay, I really want to show them something different. I'm just going to go over here, insert, go to pictures, and I can do stock pictures, but it'll also let me go find pictures online. So let's say the picture that I might want to use is not in the stock. I can go online and find a picture as well. But look at this. There are cartoon characters that you can use. There are illustrations that you can use, stickers that you can use, even cutout people that you can use. There are icons that you can use. All of this will just help us to create more interesting emails and letters or documents, right? Even if you're just trying to send a message, let's say you're sending a message to a client and you just want to be able to not just do a smiley face. Maybe you're talking about the fact that, hey, I'm going to send you a message. Don't forget, we've got a 9 o'clock. You could just, click right here and put an alarm right there, right? It doesn't have to be anything complicated. It just you want to break up the monotony. That's all. Make sense? If it makes sense, guys, give me a 2. 2, am I getting a 2? Thank you, guys. Okay, let me show you guys one last thing before I get out of here. The other thing that I want you to realize is that if you do the same thing, let's say we create a new document and we're in Word. There are templates that you can use. Now, these templates can be found in Word and in PowerPoint. And a lot of times people are like, what am I going to say? Well, it depends on what you want to do, because here are the templates. Look at this. This is a numbers coloring book. I mean, you could just use this template to print it out, to give it to your children, to keep them busy in the car. Give them something to color in the car, right? But there's business, there's cards, flyers, letters. Let's look at letters. So you want to send a letter and you want to break up the monotony. You don't want it to be a boring letter that nobody, is going to read. Here are some templates that you can use to really, truly create something that will bring people's attention, bring their eye to the information that you want to send them. So let's click on one of these letters. Let's click on this one, for instance. We're going to use this. We're going to create this template. Okay, let me go over here. Let me just go right over here. So under this letter, let's say that you're sending, and this could be, you're sending it to anybody. You're going to put the first name, surname, you're going to put the date. And all we're going to do is just go to right here, and we're just going to click on it. It's going to allow us to change that information. I don't know why it's not letting me get to this picture. I think it's because this is above the picture. I want to get in there and change that picture. But the date, the recipient information, down here, who it's going to go to, and then we can type in whatever verbiage we want to type in, right? Right over here, if you want to put your address and all of that right here. But a lot of this is already done for you. The main thing is, hey, you know, if I wanted to use a flyer, if I wanted to just create a flyer, there are flyers already done. And all you have to do is take the template and just put your information in the template. Man, you could be having a summer party. You just want to send it out to everybody. And you just go in and open the template, put your information in it, save it, and you can save it as a PDF. In Word, you can save a Word document as a PDF, right? And I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the summit. Okay, does this make sense? Can you guys use this? Okay, cool. It's all about finding ways to make it easier, finding ways to be able to shorten your time. And all of these little tips will allow you to do that. Go back over here. Okay. Now, this is the one that I sent earlier. I sent this to my client. And now I can actually recall the message. I just clicked on it twice. And you see where it allows me to recall this message? If I click recall, it asks me if I want to delete it, delete all the copies, delete unread copies, and replace it with a new message. And let's just say I'm just going to delete the whole thing because I didn't mean it to send it to her, right? Do you guys see that? So this is one of the reasons I use Outlook for my professional email. I think that's it. I'm going to turn it back over to our fearless leader, Mr. Robert Dunbar. Mr. Dunbar?
Day 2, we're going to get into as a matter of fact, on day 1 too, we're going to also do the declaration of intent. And the declaration of intent is something that Coach Larry put together to make sure that you commit yourself to this 4-day change in your business. So we've got a declaration of intent put together that you are going to sign saying that you are ready to make a change in your business. We're going to be doing that as well here. And then on day 2, we're going to get into talking about the apps and things that you need to have on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer. So when we get into day 3 and 4, you guys can just roll, right? Our workflow is just going to be dynamic because you guys are going to already have everything set up. You're going to be ready to go. You're going to know who else is in this session with you, in these sessions with you. You're going to know us. We're going to have an intimate relationship going. So day 3 and 4, those 6-hour sessions, which will have breaks in them, we'll be able to just roll this thing out. And when we get to the sessions, when we're talking about social media, Ariel Simone is going to even do breakout sessions to make sure you guys have more clarity on what you're getting within those sessions, guys. So it's going to be a lot going on here within this 4 days and the 16 hours, but it's going to be hands-on, right? You're going to have some philosophy from Harold Branch, right? So he's going to give you some brain teasers because guess what? We can't do anything without our mind, right? We lead with our mind. So we are going to have a little bit of brain work in there, but most of what we're going to be doing is hands-on. I'm going to turn it over to some of the other coaches that may have some other things that they want to talk about as well. So Coach Larry, I'm going to turn it over to you, and then you can turn it over to Ariel Simone because I know she's probably got some exciting things to say as well.
Okay, thank you guys so much. So this was the first night that I was actually at home instead of on the road. So I was really, really excited about not having to try to figure this thing out on the road. And, you know, I've been so excited about this. And I'm going to tell you guys why this came into fruition. It's because I have spent a lot of money, more than I even want to say here. And I have walked away feeling like I got nothing, you know, and I have been heartbroken. And it's not just the money, it's because I so desperately wanted to learn. I so desperately wanted to grow. I wanted to find a way to kind of make a leap. You know what I'm talking about? To go not just from where I am right here. I wanted to just make this leap. So I was willing to make the investment to make the leap. And those investments were thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So when we talked about doing this, we all agreed that we couldn't do this. Number one, we had to make it affordable. Number two, we had to make sure that we were giving people information that they could use right now. And every coach you see here tonight totally agree with that. It's like, hey, yes, this is what we're going to do. So we're glad that you guys are going to be joining us tomorrow night. We're glad that you feel like that there's value here. We appreciate you being here the whole 5 weeks with us, right? I want you guys to give yourself a hand. I mean, this has been incredible for you to show up all 5 weeks to make sure that you're getting information, that you trusted us enough to make sure that you were going to show up to get the information. So please, guys, if you would, let's just give ourselves a hand tonight. Yeah. All good, right? So I'm going to be talking about CRM. I saw a lot of people talking about CRM. I'm a CRM fanatic, right? I've tried so many doggone CRMs, and I'm going to talk to you guys about HubSpot. But only one of the reasons I use HubSpot, number one, it's free. And for somebody who is starting just starting using a CRM, it's going to be perfect. Because why do we need it? Why do we use it? We want to track, right? Especially those emails. Wouldn't it be great that every time you send an email out, you knew exactly when somebody opened that email, you knew exactly how many times they opened an email? Wouldn't it be great to know that in your business? And a CRM will do that and a lot of other things. So we're going to be talking about some other things, other tips that you can use using Windows and using Microsoft. We're going to be talking about, not only what you can do with your CRM, but what you can do with so many other technologies that we're using now. And we know that they work, and we know that it'll make a difference in not just your business, just even in your life, right? In your life. So thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. And I'm going to turn it over to our Energizer Bunny. I mean, she brings the heat all the time. I remember when I met her, right? From the moment I met her, I was totally just kind of drawn to her. It was like, I want this person in my experience, right? And she knows I'm an auntie, right? And she loves me in spite of it, right? So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Ariel Simone.
Family, this has been a beautiful 5 weeks, and I'll be completely transparent with everybody. It was definitely something just out of the coaches' hearts, because I've never in my life done a summit or a boot camp or an academy or whatever you want to call it and done 5 weeks of pregame. And when they came up with it, because I'm gonna be completely transparent, I didn't come up with it, but I'm glad it happened. But when they came up with it, I said, oh my goodness, how amazing, how amazing this is going to be. And it was all to be able to serve. But I'll tell you guys this. I'll share this. And it may sting a little. Is it okay if I sting a little? Okay. I love you guys. And so I'm going to share this with you because there came a time in my business where I had to decide to invest in my business. But I want to tell you something that I learned from one of my coaches. This is somebody that I currently, and don't none of y'all tell my mama, I currently pay a pretty penny on a monthly basis to coach with this gentleman. And he said, Ariel, as you go into the coaching space and as you decide you want to help your family, your friends, your loved ones, your newfound tribe, he said, I want you to recognize that when people don't invest in themselves, regardless of what service, product or offering you have, sometimes people don't invest in themselves because they don't believe they can do it. It has nothing to do with you. And I share that because I want you guys to know the only thing that stands in the gap of your business doing a complete 180 or 360, however you look at that phrase, the only thing that stands in the gap is what you don't know and what I know. What you don't know and what Coach Larry knows. What you don't know and what Coach Dunbar knows. What you haven't applied and what Coach Harold Branch has applied. That's the only thing. And some of us believe it's us, deep down inside. And that's why we won't pay $200. And when my coach gifted me with that, I came to a space where I wanted to share that understanding with the people that I love and the people that I want to see win. And that is something that I want to gift you all with tonight. If it's truly something that you don't have in your budget, send an email out. But that's really probably 1% of anybody that has joined this Zoom, maybe 5%. Some of us are standing in the way of being able to get to the finish line because we won't invest in ourselves, because we say, am I going to apply it? Will I actually make these changes? Am I ready to get on social media? Do I want to be held accountable? These are the only things that are standing in the gap. So I hope that resonates with someone. I hope that it helps you make a shift. And I want you to know you can do it. And all you need is the system. All you need is the application. All you need is the know-how. All right. Business isn't secret sauce, it's a system. So I am going to be teaching on social media. I'm gonna tell you all right now. It's never gonna happen like this again. Like, it's gonna be such a beautiful space that I'm going to be able to dig in and really be available in a one-on-one intimate space to help you. And I'm talking about things that I've learned over 7 years of being in business when it comes to branding, when it comes to messaging, when it comes to marketing. Some of you all know me from one space of business, whether it's, within the transformational coaching space, network marketing. Some understand that before that, I had a consulting firm where I worked with CFOs and CEOs, and I held their hand with managerial accounting and marketing. And then others know that technically I'm a professional digital marketer. So that means that I have my certifications in Google Ads, Amazon Ads. I'm the person with the tracking, the spreadsheets. This is my know-how, and I really want to give to you all during this summit. And I want to stand in the gap. I want to be the bridge. And it's going to be a judgment-free zone. Like, it doesn't happen like that when it comes to social media training. People tell you what to do, and that's it. They don't tell you how. And we're really going to be working on the how. So if you have questions, reach out to us. But tonight is the night. Or, you can stay on the line. Like, after I close out, I'll pass it back over to Coach Dunbar. Stay on the line. We'll answer your questions. And let's fill that gap with the information that you need to know so that your business can actually do what you need it to do. But other than that, back over to you, Coach Dunbar or Coach Larry.
I agree with you. I talked about the monies that I invested, and sometimes it was the time that I invested. And I can tell you that what I've learned, especially about sales, is because I can't tell you how many sales courses I've taken, how many sales books I have. I have a whole library, and the peak performers know on sales, because I wanted to be the best. And the only way you can be the best is you learn from the people who already have achieved certain things. And I listened to you talk about the certifications. Where else can we find that? Where else can we find that for $200? You've got those certifications. You spent time with some of the best, the top when it comes to social media. You've been able to cross the river and work with some of the best, right? And I feel honored and privileged that I'm going to be able to sit under your tutelage for these 4 days. And when I think about Rob and Rob, his experience, I always tease him all the time. I was like, have you ever had a job? And of course, he's not had a job. He's actually been an entrepreneur all of his life. And so when he talks about the Pomodoro, it's because he's using it. You know, we were having a conversation the other day, guys, and we were talking about food or something, getting food. And he said, that's why you got to have food in your car, so you don't end up eating fast food or whatever, because he went through a period of becoming a health coach. He went through a period of teaching people how to become healthy, and he practices what he teaches, right? So, yes, the investment is small, but it packs a powerful punch, right? And tell some, if you're working with people, tell them about this. Let other people know, because it would be incredible for you to go through this training and have some of your teammates side by side with you. Now, of course, you'll be able to go back and share it with them, but it's nothing like the experience of them going through it themselves. So reach out to some people, let them know we still have some room left. I don't know how much at this point, but we will try to accommodate as many people as we can. So yes, share the message. And like Ariel said, I don't know if we'll do this like this again. I don't know that we will, but I know that we were all called to do this. And I know that if you're here, you were called to be here. Right? So, are there any questions? Please, if you've got any questions, just put them in the chat, and we'll make sure.
Hand, family, we have you guys on. You guys can come off mute, but you can raise your hand.
Can you? Okay, you've got them. If you can raise your hand, and we'll take any questions.
I'll put them in as events. So on a Google Calendar, you can have an event or a task or a reminder. I will put a task if it's a spur of the moment thing, like for instance, like my 15-year-old son, kick his teeth in, he wishy-washy, he don't know what he want to eat. I've got some food in the house. Sometimes I give him a break so he don't have to eat all the health stuff I eat. I try to let him have his own life. So he may be like, Dad, can you grab me a pizza or something from a place? And I'll put that on my task list. So when I click on it, it's right off. That is a task for me, but everything else is an actual event on my calendar. And I buffer those events, meaning that I put it 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after that event, which means I've got time to prepare for it and close out after it. And every event I put on my calendar, I do 1.5, meaning that if it's something that's taking an hour, I put it for an hour and a half. I 1.5 everything just in case something goes wrong, whether I'm traveling, whether I have to have a conversation with somebody, because I want to make sure I'm accurate with my timing. So it does go on there as an actual event.
Mm-hmm. And the reason why I was asking is because you were saying to cross it out
it'll cross it out itself.
Yeah, it'll cross it out itself. Yeah, whether it's a task or an event, it will. So if you're using Google Calendar and you're color coded, if you use red, once the time that event is done, it dims. It turns into a dimmer red automatically.
I never noticed that.
A lot. If you say you've done the task, a line will go right through it. So you know that you got that done. So that's how I use Google Calendar. But those kind of things, we'll talk a little bit more about during the bit. Like I'm going to be showing you guys how to color code. I'm going to show you guys how to show that you've done things in your calendar so that you can mark that off on your list mentally and know that you've gotten things done. So at the end of your night, when your significant other or whoever cares about you say, so what did you do today? You don't have to get frustrated when you hear that question. Because I know how that is. When you get frustrated because you really don't know what you did. You did some stuff, but you don't know what it was. So it's like, what you do all day? I've been working all day. I want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about it because you don't know. That's why you don't want to talk about it. You're frustrated because you don't know what you did. You just know you did some stuff. But when you actually have a list, you're excited to talk about it. You know what? This is what I got done because you can recall it, right? It's the same way your kids ask you how to do something that you don't know how to do and you get mad at them. Instead of just saying, I don't know how to do that. You get frustrated because they ask you a question that you can't answer. So we're going to show you how to make sure your calendar lets you know exactly what you did. So good questions there. Miss Nancy Wolf.
Hi there. Ms. Larry, the HubSpot that's included in Business Plus supplement.
Yes, that's the one we'll be using, Nancy.
All right. So my question is, it said that it was the free one. And when I went to import an Excel spreadsheet from my insurance company that had more columns than allowed me to match up, it looks like they're asking me to spend more money. But what I was trying to do was delete some of the things. And then it kept telling me that I had 3 unmatched when there was 10 green check marks.
Okay, so what we'll do, Nancy, maybe we'll work through yours if you're open to that, and we can try to work through those issues. And I'm thinking that once you put in the spreadsheet, even when you match the different columns, you're saying you still got an error message?
It wouldn't allow me to go to the next step.
Because you had too many columns.
Yes. And
Okay.
so I tried to, so do not, in other words, do I have to take away the columns before I import something?
Well, if it's saying that, let's say that you have, it's saying that you have 15 columns,
Right.
that their particular platform allows for 15 columns. If you do have 18 columns, it is not going to let you move forward. So you are going to have to delete those 3 columns to be able to work in that platform.
So do I have to
makes
delete
sense.
it on the Excel spreadsheet before I import it?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so that's where I was running into a problem because I was trying to change.
You are going to have to, so again,
Oh.
if it's 15 in the platform, you have 18,
It
there are 3
allows-
columns you're going to have to get rid of.
It allows 10. So anything beyond that, they'd want me to upgrade to one where you have to pay for it. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I've been using HubSpot for years and I've never paid for it.
All right, you and I will have to talk offline.
Yes.
I don't want to waste other
Definitely.
All
Yeah,
right,
I've
thank you.
never
And when
paid
I
for
talk to you
HubSpot.
too, Nancy, when me and you have a conversation too, Nancy, because I can't even imagine what you using 10 columns for anyway. So,
It
we'll
was
talk
from
about
United
that.
Healthcare, and it was from United Healthcare. So it was names, addresses, email, date of birth, what type of thing, when it was effective. I mean, they have all these columns that I would not have put myself.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So what we just want to do, and what I would do if I were you, Nancy, I would make a second copy of the spreadsheet, and then I would save the original, make a second copy, and use that to work in HubSpot.
Okay, that sounds better. Okay, I'll attempt that before we meet. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Nancy. Annette.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Great. I'm driving right now, so I'm almost home. I wanted to ask you about branding and like doing your, I mean, I've had a LinkedIn profile for a long time, but it's based on my old career. So like branding yourself and trying to find a banner and just simple things like possibly doing a website with my name of the company that I've picked the name for, and I've already applied for an LLC. Well, I've already gotten the LLC. So those types of things, establishing, I know we talked about emails and stuff like that. Is there any way that anyone does any specialty work on the branding part of it?
We all do. All of us.
That's what I thought.
And that's because we've had to do it on our own, as building into, prior to being able to, find someone who could help us. We've all had to try to figure some things out. And that was one of the things for me. And I use LinkedIn a lot. It's my go-to, especially for working in the professional space. So,
and I did a lot of that. I did mine myself as well. This is a little bit different just because I've looked at so many different profiles of people in Legal Shield and their different aspects of it. And some people they'll have a website and then it'll take you to a little bit more information and that type of thing. And I just didn't know if there was any help on that particular aspect of it, even if it's one-off, if it's not.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. We're going to talk about a resource that we use when we need to get somebody to build a quick website or a landing page. There's a resource that you can get it done and get it done very inexpensively. We're going to talk about that. Now, you said you have already gotten the LLC. One of the things that I mentioned tonight is making sure that you actually purchase a URL, right?
You know what? I've paid the money, but I think they also billed me for something else. I was going to call Legal Shield actually and ask them because I paid.
We need to look at what you're doing. We really do need to look at what you're doing.
I'm so excited. You guys are all so good. I have been listening to you all and taking stuff from you all for so long. And it's, I'm excited about the youngster in the crowd. It's going to be doing
excited about it too.
She is amazing. I mean, the way she separated all of the different social media categories, I was literally taking notes and I was like, I have never heard this the way she explained it. It was so simple. And Robert, I love you, all of you all. I've taken, all of you in person and online and all that. So I'm very excited.
Just as you know, I don't even know how to not talk about that stuff in general. So I'm just telling you, you guys are going to hear during the conference about, I'm really adamant about having your own business. And you guys will hear me talk about that. If you're an admin,
I know.
If you're a Medicare agent, if you're in financial services, if you're in Legal Shield, whatever you do, you need to have your own LLC with your own EIN number that you're being paid to. You need to own your name as a URL, like Sharon talked about. You need to have a company business name URL, and you need to have an email that's professional, that doesn't have Yahoo, Gmail, or Outlook on the back. Because as adults and business owners, we're too old to be sending Gmail emails as a professional. We need to be sending emails with our company name on the back end of it. And you need to have a site that says a little bit, if you're attached to Legal Shield, things like that, you need to have a site, an off-site, right? That explains a little bit more about you and your business and that you offer legal and identity benefits if you're in that space. Not just click a link and go to a Legal Shield website that's got 1,000 different things that look like everybody else's Legal Shield website.
Exactly. Right? This is exactly what it's so hard to get this information from people, even around me, even in Legal Shield. So many people have not done this. You are one of the few people that's why I've listened to you for so long, because you make so much sense. But there's so many people that don't give you all this information. It's really valuable, I believe. So, I just really am excited about it. So thank you so much. And I've been on all your CDLP stuff too, because I'm pretty much concentrating on the small B2B and the group when I get it in the group, right? And the CDLP. So and I've got some prospects that I've been working with my community and some of our vendors and stuff that I'm thinking I'm going to be able to hopefully plug into their companies. But I'm very methodical. So I like to get things kind of laid out before I get into it, because once I start, I've been in sales for so long and I get on a roll and I just go, so that's kind of why I take so long to get started. Once I get started, it's like, okay, I'm ready. Right.
All right. That's good stuff. Now, I appreciate you following all of us and plugging into this, and I know you're a part of the summit as well already. So we're gonna knock it out, guys. We're gonna have a good time. You guys learn some stuff. You are going to be better afterwards. And if you've been the one getting in your own way, if you've been the one blocking your own success, you know what? Harold Branch is gonna talk to you about dealing with the anti-you. So if you've been a person in your own way, he's gonna show you how to get out of your own way. And this is what I like about what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing all these how-tos. Sharon, Coach Larry, Coach Simone, myself, how-to. But for those that know how-to, but they keep blocking their own success, Harold's going to speak to that so that you know how to win in all areas, so that you know how to get out of your own way and get what's necessary for you to have. right? And all of those little things that we're doing in our own business, because we all seem to think that we have to have our finger on the trigger all day long. When we're doing something wrong, we're going to show you how you can literally say, okay, let me pay people to do the small things that I don't know how to do. Stop learning new skills for everything. You don't have to know how to do everything, right? You delegate, right? You do what you do and delegate what you don't do. You pay people to do what you don't know how to do. It's the Henry Ford method. It's been around forever. You want to be on automation. You want to be out of town, out of the country, gone for 2 weeks, visiting the grandkids, seeing family, doing whatever you do, and your business should be making the same amount of money or more money while you're gone. You should have appointments when you come back home that you didn't have to speak to the person who you have the appointment with. Because you should have a system that does all of that stuff for you, and it does not cost an arm and a leg. It's something that you can have done for like pennies on a dollar. Less than $1 a day, sometimes less than 50 cents a day to do some of these things that we're talking about. So that's what we get. So Sharon?
Any other questions? Okay, cool. If you guys are ready, then we are ready. You know, we know that if you want to make a change in your life, you have to be just willing to step up. You have to be willing to take some risk. And in this case, it's a calculated risk. You know, we made sure that we kept it at a level that most people can participate. But we would love it if you guys also share this with other people so that we can reach as many people as possible. Because, you know, we know that when we were out here trying to figure it out, right? We wanted to be able to do this in a way that we could also support the people that we were working with. So if your team members or partners or spouses, right, bring them along because we want to make sure everybody walks away feeling like I got information, I got tools, I got things I can use immediately. Right now, and I've constantly talked to Rob. I was like, you know, he knows how I am. I'm pretty direct. It's like I just want to make sure there's some value. I want to make sure that people can walk away and feel like I can do this. Now I know to push this button, go here, do this, go here and do that. And we have focused directly on making sure you guys can do that. So we're going to ask one more time. Any questions? Anything you can think of?
I got a question on the module. Yeah, I got a question on the module. And on the modules, meaning that when everything is done, the editing team is going to break down everything into modules. So everybody who has bought into the training or is buying into the training, for those who already bought into it, you know you had to create a login. Yes, they made you create a login. That login is a platform, just like if you were taking an online course to a college. So you're going to be able to log into that, and there's going to be all 5 of the coaching sessions that we did here, and then every module in that training. So when Sharon Leary talks about HubSpot, it's going to be a module that says Sharon Coach Leary, HubSpot, and then whatever thing she brought to the table, whether it was a PDF, a slideshow, you're going to be able to download that right on the right-hand side for that particular training. When Ariel Simone does social media, if she comes and does 4 different segments, it's going to be 4 different videos that are going to be labeled those 4 different segments. So you're not going to be looking at 2 or 3 hour videos. You're going to be looking at them broken up into modules and segments the same way if you took any course, it would have chapters. It's going to be the same way. So you will be able to identify the coach and the training information in those modules to watch those videos again. And that's part of what you get. You have access to that for life, just so you know.
And last but not least, I just wanted to say that we hope that every last one of you guys, you know, that from this summit, not only will you learn some automation, but you will also learn that you are a business owner. You are a business owner, right? We talk about always having more than one means of earning income. And from what you're seeing us doing, a lot of you guys will be able to do the same thing. A lot of you guys have so much information already in you. And if we can help you, as Rob has been helping me to move a lot of that, because I have a heart to give. And I know so many of you I know personally. I know that you have a heart to give. And I know that you were born to give, right? And we want to make sure that this is a space that you can start to believe if they can do it, then I can do it too, right? And that these are people who can direct me and guide me and show me the way. Because everything is going online. If you're not already there, then we're hoping to help you move there. If you're already in that space, we're hoping to help take you to another level in that space. And having Ariel here has been one of the best ways for you guys to be able to learn this, because everybody else, the way they want to teach it is a lot of times it's just not easy to grasp, right? And when I talked to her, I said, you know, you're talking to your boomer aunt. So she's like, okay, auntie. I'm like, girl, you got to tell me, go to step 1, then go to step 2, go to step 3. And she's done that. I appreciate that. Last thing I want to say is if you guys make sure you click on the link, the Pomodoro that Rob was talking about tonight, if you guys got to implement that. And I'm talking to the people that I have worked with, and I know how frustrated you are, that you feel like you have no time, you're overwhelmed. I know we've talked about it. I've been there with you guys. This is a way for us to start to take better care of us. Ladies, y'all know who I'm talking to. Y'all know who I'm talking to. This will help us to talk. Yeah, I see that smile. I see you smiling. I see you, right? This is a way for us to start taking better care of us. So please make sure you get that information. I'm so glad that he shared that tonight.